on your shareholders' revenue, you should eliminate your customer service. Can we bring the customer service back on this planet,
We
please?
need to. I had a lecture about that regarding the future of the web and stuff, and this is what I said is that now I already curse. I can continue cursing on the
Yeah.
show. I was those robots, my friend. They are the most annoying shit ever. Now you hear it today. I'm the guy that lectured to Red Hat. You want to question me, my friend? I will debate you the digital whatever you want. I was in Tim Berners-Lee's project, The Future of the Web, for 1 year. So I'm telling you this. Robot. We need more people. We need to humanize more. We need to put people first. And I don't want to talk to one more robot that answers me. I will shut off the internet for 1 year and take time off, my friend. I'm so
Right?
tired of that. I want to talk to a person, you know.
And
Every
if you
time it's
have
the
a brand,
same. Yeah.
and Eduardo, if you have a beautiful brand, I promise you this. I will put it here live on wherever we're broadcasting. I want the octopus movement to have millions of members all over the world connected, right? I want to have a customer service that when you are entering the octopus movement somewhere in Brazil or Japan, and you're wondering, I want to enter the think tank, but I don't understand. And also I discovered my neurodiversity. I'm lost. I know it feels good to go to the octopus movement, and I don't know what to do with my neurodiversity, and I don't understand the think tank. I want to talk to someone. I promise you we will have an amazing, team of people waiting for you. Because you need to, right? It doesn't make any sense. Now we're just small. We just have 1,500 people, so people connect directly with me. If they have a question, they go to my Pick My Brain account and they book me for half an hour for free, and they can ask me anything they want. So, and then we have customer service doing that. I don't want to talk to a robot who will say, and then the answer of the robot, Eduardo, is, have you checked the website? I hate that answer. Then you have a difficulty and you go to a website of a big brand and then it's not working. Have you checked the website? I am on the flipping website. I don't get it. But that's,
I can
yeah.
tell you like this. I'm sure that I'm in a research study because all these chatbots, they always end the same. I like F you with caps lock. So somebody's like, who is that Chilean guy doing this? F U's everywhere. He's destroying the measurement. Like, we can't have him. Try to ban him. Can we IP ban him or something? But this is the fact, my friend, is that when they talk, this is the problem. Digital transformation or whatever you want to talk about, they always need something new to move the industry, right? The consultants, okay, sorry to say to all you guys like digital transformators, you need a job, right? So, but this is the fact, my friend. we need to stop that. We need to humanize more. We need to talk more to each other, like Mr. Facebook, like the metaverse is the future. Do you know, have you read this research for Generation Z, my friend? They're going to have more depression, more burnouts. Why? Because we interact less. We don't talk to each other. We don't touch each other as humans. We need not to digital transformate. We need to humanize, my friend. That is the future.
And right, and be.
Dr. Octopus. Welcome.
Yay! Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you so much.
Is that
So
really
much
your
fun
name?
being here. Dr. Octopus, no, it's not my name. And it's an author in South Africa, Howard Drakes. You need to meet him one day. He started calling me Dr. Octopus. So he lives in South Africa. He did a seminar on writing for the octopus movement and for the people that are in my global art project, Project 398. And he explained to them how telling a story works. And he started to call me Dr. Octopus. And then other people in the octopus movement were calling me Dr. Octopus. And to be honest, Perry Knoppert or Dr. Octopus, what do you prefer? EduardoX.
Yeah, I'm not like EduardoX actually. It's Eduardo Ibacache Rodriguez, but this was my problem, like I'm from Latin America and they say like Eduardo is like, it's like Michael or something. everybody is named Eduardo. My father was Eduardo also, actually. So I'm Eduardo, like second in the same family. Imagine you move to
Mm.
Chile or Latin America, you have like Eduardo's everywhere, right? And then my last name, like, yeah, in Chile they come, okay, Ibacache Rodriguez. But when I lectured here in like Scandinavia, where I grew up, nobody, like, who was that guy? He had a good talk. Like, nobody remembered my name. So then I just added the X, like X, Eduardo X. Now you will remember for sure, my friend.
Now everybody knows Eduardo. Eduardo
Yeah,
X.
yeah, that's it.
Sounds
But the
good.
X actually has a meaning. The X stands actually for the X factor. And I truly believe that all humans have an X factor, and it's our obligation as fathers, leaders, friends, colleagues to nourish that X factor in people. Like, I don't believe the X factor as a phenomenon. I believe everybody has an X factor. So that's the actual meaning of the X in Eduardo X.
So you're the X Factor guru.
I would not say I'm a guru. I'm just a human.
But
Nah,
that would be some amazing guru-ness if you're able
yeah.
to see everybody's X factor, right? Because in the media we're looking for the X factor that only a few people have. But you're saying everybody has the X factor in its own way. So it's beautiful if you can recognize.
My friend, I heard so much about you and your movement, like, and then I see like Darren was like, Eduardo, have you heard about the octopus movement? I like, no, what's that? And then he described very little for me, but from the little he described, I like, okay, I had to check this out, right? So I was reading on your website, like, okay, this is really interesting. And then you reach out to me and say, hey, Eduardo, I like what you're doing with Founders King. I'm like, yeah, I'm so happy. Let's talk, right? And then suddenly Joe D-Roy is like, oh, I joined and stuff. So I'm so happy that we made this happen, my friend, because I'm so fortunate that I had the opportunity to meet so many interesting people online that I would say enlighten not only me, I would say, but enlighten people, because that's what we need, you know, like in this, yeah, you talk always about the matrix. So in this superficial world where like titles and roles for some reason have become very important for humans, people like you, I would say, like Nicole P. Jones, I could name them all day long. It's so refreshing, I think, for people. So for me, it's an honor having you on the show. Tell us the story.
Yay!
Why? Why do you do what you do? Where did it start? Did you have the vision, or did it came?
No, it came. But first thing, what you were saying is the same thing I'm always saying. I'm so fortunate to meet people, to connect. And I call this now in the movement because it's all about these personal connections. The
Yeah.
mycelium network of amazing humans. And I think the mycelium network really on a brain level exists. So when we are talking now with each other in this studio, we're not even close to each other, but we can see each other, we can hear each other, and our brains are connected with each other in a biological way. And that's a mycelium connection that's happening right now. And that is amazing. And if you're in the same frequency level, then you're connecting even more than we're thinking. And we're like two computers on the internet connecting with each other and brainstorming and thinking. I love that. And that's what happened in the octopus movement. It just happened. I started interviewing people who wrote on their LinkedIn profile that they're a multi-potentialite. 2 years ago, I found out I'm a multi-potentialite. I always thought I was just crazy, doing lots of things at the same time. Nobody really understood me. Everybody always thought that I was a little bit of a misfit. And I was just thinking, it's me, I'm crazy. I don't belong to the fancy group of people that are successful. I'm always somewhere else. And and then I discovered multipotentiality by Emily Wapnick. TED Talk, saw the TED Talk, thought, that's interesting. Let me interview these people. So I interviewed people like 70, 80 people all over the world. I wanted to see as many different cultures as possible. So I started in Bangladesh, went to South Africa, Chile, Argentina, Iceland, New Zealand, really all over the world, Japan, Korea. And I thought, this is so fascinating. These people that are called multipotentialites call themselves multipotentialites because they feel that they're a misfit. but they also feel that they can do so much more than people really understand from them. And while talking to all of them, I discovered the connection with neurodiversity. All of them had some labels: ADHD, ADD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, bipolar, whatever, right? And and I thought maybe that neurodiversity is the cause of multipotentiality. So I went to a large company here in the Netherlands, talked to a bunch of researchers, and said, how does it work with the brain? And I started doing more and more research. And one day, I'm getting to the point, Eduardo. One day, I was talking to a group of multipotentialites on Clubhouse. And I said, I think the word multipotentialite for me is still too linear. Your matrix is my linear world. Linear world for me means we go to school, you have to do your homework, you have to get a good grade, you have to get your diploma. If you get a diploma, you get a good job, and you have a good job, you get a wife, a golden retriever, and 2 kids, and you will be happy ever after. It's not true, of course. So that's my linear world. And I said that multipotentiality is too linear for me, because you also have polymath, jack of all trades, a scanner, zebra. You have so many different titles for something that is really interesting. And I asked a group of people, I said, what kind of symbol do you see? And then Christine in London said, I always send an octopus emoji just for the fun of it. There's no thinking behind it, just an octopus, because I just think it's interesting, the animal. Then Haley in South Africa said, oh, Perry, did you see My Octopus Teacher? Documentary about a filmmaker going into the ocean every day and building up a friendship with this octopus. That is amazing. Award-winning documentary, really beautiful. And the next day I started the octopus movement, because I thought, this is what I need to do. I need to show these octopuses in the world, people that are misfits, rebels, weirdos, people that are different. They're they don't belong. They're not being understood. But these people are the ones who make a difference. If you look just behind you, EduardoX, you have Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is a nonlinear thinker. Steve Jobs is an octopus, right? He was doing things differently. He was even fired from his own company. Holy shit. And and he was doing amazing things, and people were like, oh, what the hell is this dude doing, and why? And we don't get it. And look at Apple now. So these rebels, these people that are different, are able, are capable to make a huge difference in the world. And look at the world where we're heading right now. It's not going so well. So we need nonlinear thinkers. We need rebels. We need people that are different to make a huge difference. And that's why I created the Octopus Movement. And it's only a year and 2 months ago that I created that, 3 months ago. We now have 1,500 members. We're in 52 countries. We have our own think tank. We have our own group of octopus teachers, octopus specialists. We're doing a global art project. Why? Because it's easy. You have all these amazing people connecting with each other, working together. So it's one big explosion of possibilities, ideas, out of the box thinking. And there is no ego. There's no difficulty. There is no discrimination. It's humanity and looking after the planet, looking after each other. That's also the mycelium. If that tree is in the mycelium and there's another tree here and that one is in difficulty, then this tree is sending nutrition through the mycelium to the other tree to survive. That's what we're doing as well. If I have someone in Korea who needs help, he gets help from the rest of our amazing group of people with so much capacity, so much brain power. And then we help each other. And then I will start talking, because otherwise I will keep talking your entire program, Eduardo. So I didn't do anything, basically. It just happened.
Yeah, the matrix moves in mysterious way, I would say.
I would say.
Once you break out of it, once you break out. Yeah, I love what you said, man. I could listen all day to you because you're speaking my language, right? And not many people are speaking that language because, as I see it, the most people are stuck to the matrix. They were fed how to think, how to be, how to look, how to, what is beautiful, what is ugly, right? So that is the
I, I
thing.
was
Like,
I was on the
yeah,
wrong side. What
yeah.
happened with you, Eduardo, that you were able to see that? When was it in your life that you were thinking, shit, I need to do something different here. I don't want to be in that normal life. I want to do something else. When was that for you?
I think when my mother started to cry because I think I was like 5 years old, and this older man said like, your son is really weird, maybe something is wrong with him, because his creativity and his fantasies, or what he talks about, like, I think he's like maybe damaged. My mother
Oh, really?
cried. Yeah. My mother cried, and I was so sorry for her. But I think I always was like, I don't know, like I saw patterns from young childhood, and people like, you can't talk like that. You're a child. And I like, why can't I talk like that?
Hmm.
So what happened was that when I was 7, I came 5 to Chile from, yeah, I came to Sweden from Chile, and my mother and father was very academical. They said like, we need to live with Swedes so we can integrate. But then I was the only blackhead, as they called me, and I couldn't
Hmm.
hide. So I got it really hard. But what I did is that I hide in the library, and from 7 years old to 12, I read. I read like, I'm not kidding now, like constantly. I even, my mother was like, she forbid me to read. She thought I was going
She
mad.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, she thought I was going mad because in the night I couldn't stop reading. So I was like, I only slept 4 or 5 hours, and still today I only sleep 4 or 5 hours. I can't sleep more. I don't know why. Maybe I'm
Wow.
damaged. I have no clue. But I read and read so
But
much.
Eduardo, did you
Yeah.
ever get tested as a child? Did your parents say, "Okay, we need to get this child
No, my
tested"?
mother
Or
refused because she always said after she cried, she said sorry. This was the thing, right? She said sorry. She said, my son, she said, you're going to become something special one day. And she
Mhm.
was the only one that believed that. And I didn't believe that myself for many years. I thought I was like doomed to be an outcast all my life. So I thought for all my life until my mother died when I was 22,
Mhm.
I thought that my life was like doomed. So I was like walking totally different path. I can tell you, I was like, yeah, I learned how to fight back around 13, 14, and then I broke in my nose more than 10 times.
How did
I,
that happen?
I know how to take a good beating, I can tell you like that, and I know how to give you back. So that's, but I didn't want that actually. It was like I had to live in a reptile environment, and it was like eat or be eaten. And I was the computer and data nerd, so I had to grow up fast, my friend. Like I said, I couldn't hide, I couldn't camouflage. I was the only black kid.
And but also, did that then created some extra power for you? So you were a bit of a weirdo. You were reading all the time. You were stuck in the library, and your brain was apparently going much faster than all the other brains. Um, did that also prepare you to really fight and really create a difference?
Yeah, because I read some books that really, really changed my perspective on life. I can tell you, like when I was 12, I thought that Gabriel Garcia Marquez was a genius. I can tell you.
Hmm.
And when I reached like 15 or some 14, I discovered like the biography of Malcolm X, and that totally blew my brain out, because then I realized I have a value of existence, even if they call me Svartskalle, right?
Yeah.
So it took me 1 year only to remove all my Swedish friends, because I realized they were writing Blackhead Go Home on the walls. There were no other people there around. It must have been them, right?
Yeah.
So then I said, like, screw you. And then I took to the streets, and I was, we weren't a gang, I can tell you. We defended each other. That's how it was. We were really tough people. Like now I was the opposite. Now I was the T-Rex you don't mess with, but I didn't hurt people. I was like, I ate carrots, while others, the people that had attacked me, they preyed on meat, right? But when
Yeah.
I became that strong guy that, okay, I know how to beat you up. I didn't do that. I just want, please let me be alone. Like, don't mess with me, please. So I had to forcefully become in this environment to survive. But once my mother died, then I lost all fear and I have nothing left to lose. So then and she left me this message, right? She was depressed for 7 years until she decided she didn't want to suffer anymore. So she took her life. Actually, that was what happened.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Was
that affected me a
do you
lot.
think you have this from your mother? Was your mother also very fast in her thinking and different?
Yeah.
And
My mother, they said that she were over intelligent. People that knew her, like they went to her for like advices, you could say. So she had this. This is the thing that annoys me now after going through this journey of burnouts and everything. Is that I say now, I said it, I even cursed, because the fact is, my friend, it's academical research done where they have this spectrum where they take like, okay, now let's throw this red ball and see what happened. They're like, oh, they go to the right. Let's call them the right red balls, right? That is the bullshit that annoys me. And then they say this is even the worst part. They say, oh, look, this red ball also bounced to the left. Okay, now we have a HHD bipolar ball. This is the fact, my friend. The fact is that this label was set by some academical people, grouping people with the same type of condition. Now, this is what annoys me, is that the medical industry, they take advantage of this. So they make like, they put you on 10 pills. That is what they did to me when I like, after my first burnout, I was around, like 30 something, in my early 30s. I went to like the doctor, right? And they gave me all these labels. I can name you, like I have all the labels you can imagine given to me. Each doctor went, they get me a new label. I was like, what the fuck is this, right? And for each doctor, they gave me a new medicine. Now I was on 10 drugs, one to sleep, one to wake up, one to think, one to not think, because I was thinking too much, right? So that was the thing that I did. I did
It's
all this
amazing.
research. Yeah. And this is what I discovered, my friend. This is what I discovered. I discovered that these so-called conditional labels are more common in certain groups than others. Now, between researchers, you have the highest case of autism, actually. And that is what it gives you. Now, if you analyze why is that, and then if you stop looking at the bad side of whatever you're looking at, you look, okay, is there some advantage here maybe? And that is what the science or what the industry is not talking about, is the positive. The positive for them is super focused, my friend. They could look at an ant for 10 hours, like, did it move? No. I can do that. I go crazy after 10 seconds, right? I will kill that. Bipolar people loved in Hollywood, loved in Silicon Valley, because this is the thing, their receptors are more open than others. They can see stuff we can't, or any other can. Or let's say I belong to that group also, so I can see that. So people that have this in this spectrum, now I will not even say more labels here, I will like those
But
or in this
Eduardo,
kind of
I need
spectrums, they see
to
stuff.
say something about these labels, about
Yeah.
neurodiversity. My opinion is two things. I do like labels when it's only for yourself. So if I've met so many people that discovered at a very late period in their times, when they're 50 or 60, that they have, for instance, ADHD. And then all of a sudden, everything comes together and thinking, oh, that's why it was so difficult for me to focus and whatnot. I'm not stupid. So it's not all wrong with the labels. It's only what the matrix, the linear world, does with the labels. There it goes wrong, because you get labeled because of your label. But if you can keep your label to yourself, and you can learn how your own brain works, and you can understand and adjust. I've interviewed Katie John. She has bipolar, and it took her for a very long time to figure it all out. She's now without medication. She has multiple amazing jobs, and because she understands her brain so well, and she understands how people respond to her brain, she's able to have an amazing life without medicine. Because with medicine, you recognize that, you're not yourself anymore. You're controlled. So you're back in the matrix, or back in the normal curve, or back in the linear world, because you're on drugs. And it's difficult to be yourself. It's very so. I understand what you're saying. I'm against labels. I'm always saying, ho ho. I get what you're saying, but I also like labels for people to understand themselves better. To be honest.
Yeah, but that's a problem per se, I can tell you, because if you let's first answer the first question about drugs. I would say it's not medicine, my friend, because medicine makes you better. Like you can't take lithium and become better, my friend.
No,
It just
no, I
put a lip
agree.
on your cap. You
Yeah,
can't take HHG medicine to become better. You will never become better, my friend. So that
no.
is my point, is that don't use the label, because what you have is a condition. Now, if you look further within HGHD people that has it, and then you start to do a deep study of all the group called the HHD, now you will discover, oh my God, now we can add new labels. This is the fact, my friend. The fact is that no, everybody is unique. So what you need, this is what I'm telling everybody now. I had all the labels you can imagine. I tried all the drugs. Now I haven't used any of that for a long time, I can tell you. And this is
Hmm.
what I discovered, my friend. Everybody has a blueprint. And the sooner you find your blueprint, the easier
Yeah,
it is. And
yeah.
I say like this, the label is a good start. Now, as soon as you realize, okay, I'm not the only one, and there are actually some things that work for others, maybe I will try those. As soon as you've done that, you the label, because now you understand I'm unique. Okay, these are the things I need to work on, but now I need to find my blueprint. What works for you will not work for the other man, my friend. That is the
Yeah,
fact. And
I
I
agree.
interviewed, I can tell you, a lot of people with conditions, and the people that came to this conclusion, they tried everything like me, and they said the same thing. The blueprint is unique, my friend. So the label can guide you to try stuff that worked for others, and you can get this kind of understanding. Okay, I'm not alone, right? I don't need to cry alone. But as soon as that kind of enlightenment comes, my friend, the label is the most dangerous things to have, because it's used by other leaders to oppress you. Oh, we
Oh, I
can't have a
agree.
president that has bipolar or HHG. Oh, we
I know.
can't have a CEO.
I agree because I went to court in the Netherlands because my daughter was being kicked out of the schooling system she was at
Yeah.
because she has dyslexia. It's only dyslexia, so she only has difficulty in reading and writing. You know, and there were and at the other school I lived in Brussels before the Netherlands, and at that international school she was top of her class. She was doing her IB program. No worries. She goes to a different school and it all of a sudden is a problem. I even had to go to court for that. So I hear you. You know, they use that label. By the way, I used this book to discover my blueprint. And it's, do you know Barbara Sher?
No.
Barbara Sher, oh, such a lovely lady. She wrote this book, Refuse to Choose. So for people that are multi-potentialites, they want to do lots of different things, you know, and because sometimes they're not happy, so they create new things constantly just to feel good. And then she is writing about the fact that you should be doing that. Create new things. Don't finish them. This is how you're wired. This is good for you. And then she wrote this book. I could do anything if I only knew what it was. And in this book, this is a guide to your blueprint. And she's writing about the expectations you have from yourself because of the expectations of your parents, your siblings, your neighbor, your teacher, your uncle, whatever happened in your life, they're being created, these expectations. And if you combine that with neurodiversity and a label and you have wrong expectations, you're not going to be happy, I can tell you that. And then you can discover you have ADHD, but it will not solve any problem. It's understanding your brain
You,
and
you
then
can't
finding out
yeah,
why you're doing.
you can't have HHD, my friend, because it's a spectrum. I can tell you like this: you can break your leg, and I can tell you, okay, you have a broken leg. That is a
Yeah,
fact, my friend. But you
yeah,
can't say I have HHD, because it's a spectra. You can hit between. This is if you deep study the research, you will see this thing. You can hit between different spectra. And now to tell what you are, and this is what they give to my son. They say he has ADHD/autism, and we believe that the autistical side is stronger. And now I said, you know what? labels and let's talk about the conditions. So that is what I'm claiming. We need to change those labels to talk about the actual problem. What are you suffering from? I'm
Yeah.
suffering from depressions every year. Okay, you're suffering from depressions, my friend. So that's what I'm saying. Like I have done so much digging into this. For me, like I can tell you like this: as long as a president is considered to not be a president because they have the label, then I labels, my friend. It's so simple. I
Yeah.
will not change
No,
my mind on
and
that.
you're right. You're right. And Temple Grandin, is a very good example of showing the world how many positives there are in autism, that it's brilliant to be autistic and or have autism. I don't know how to call it anymore. But what do you think, Eduardo, of the following? I sometimes say or feel that everybody has neurodiversity. Everybody is somewhere in the spectrum. So I don't believe that there are people that are healthy and that there are people with autism. I think they're just somewhere else in the whole spectrum of diversity. What do you agree?
That is the main problem of all, is that this spectrum made by these academical people, if you take any person who the heck you want, let's take a simple one, for example, Donald Trump. They will hit narcissism, my friend, big time, right? They will send him home like, hey, kid, you need to work on yourself. Like, maybe we should send you to therapy. That is what annoys me. There is nothing called like normal and normal. Everybody is normal.
No, yeah, but we're pretending that there is a normal. We're pretending
There
that
isn't.
that we can be successful in life and have a normal life, and then we get stressed and burned out because we discover it's not true.
Yeah. So
Is that the key? We discovered the key in life, Eduardo.
I don't know. Like I would say that the only thing I know for a sure is that I can say like this, like, okay, if I have to choose something that I want to change, I would say, you know what, we need to remove the word mental illness, because the only mentally ill people I know is the president killing his own people, is the leader touching his employees. That's a ill person, my friend.
So is Putin mentally ill?
I would say so.
I would
for
say
sure.
So,
Yeah. Let's say like this: you don't break your leg and go around and say, "I'm body ill," by the way.
Yeah.
Why then you say mentally ill? Like, it's so. This is what I don't get. Like, why are we so stuck on this label when we're just humans? Why not treat me as a human and talk about my condition? Like, why do I suffer from?
Well, I think the whole word neurodiversity, it's nice that everybody talks about it, but if we need to use the word diversity, then diversity is a difficulty here. Then diversity is a problem, because otherwise there wouldn't be a word as diversity in this world, right? So it's a contradiction. If we talk about neurodiversity, and it's good to talk about neurodiversity, then at the same time you're also saying something completely the opposite. Because if there's really diversity, you cannot talk about diversity. Then it doesn't exist, because then you always think there is a normal.
Fully agree, and that is my point. Like, this condition, the problem, that is the reason I'm so stuck on this, is that if they didn't exist, we wouldn't even have these discussions, my friend. We wouldn't even discuss this. We will say, you know what, Eduardo, sometimes he get this depression. That's it, no more. And then it's like, okay, how do I handle that? And then I can tell you like this: my blueprint how to do it is very simple now. After like, I think I got my first kind of, even as a child, they said, okay, there's something wrong with your kid, mother. She cried again, not the doctor, right? So then I started to like, okay, what works and not works. What didn't work, I can tell you, is alcohol. Now, if you have any kind of label, don't drink alcohol. Like, don't overdo it. At least take a beer, but don't drink too much. Don't take too many drugs.
No.
Throw that out the window, my friend. It will mess
and we're already very excited and weird and strange and interesting by ourselves. So we don't need any drugs to enhance, or don't drink, right?
Yeah.
Maybe one beer when it's really warm outside. Go for a beer. It's fine. But
another thing that research shows when it comes to all these labels is one common ground, my friend, is that sleep is very important. Now, I'm messed up from birth because I'm genetically damaged. I can't sleep more than 4 or 5 hours. I don't know why, but this is the fact. The fact is that you need to take sleep really seriously. And this is a really interesting study that they did, is that the people with these conditions that had like insomnia for some reason, any label you can imagine, they put them in a group. Like one group, they gave them sleeping pills to take if they couldn't sleep, or
Mhm.
or anything they could. They can even smoke a joint if they wanted, right? And then they discovered that the people that actually took their sleep seriously could maintain their so-called well-being better than the one that didn't. So if you really start to like do a lot of research around like well-being or human or labels, you will understand at least they are a common ground, and that is healthy living, my friend. Sleep hygiene,
Sleep.
and
Yeah.
find your blueprint. And the only blueprint I can tell you that worked for me was remove the toxic people around my life and don't work with stupid stuff that doesn't make me happy.
Yeah.
That worked for me.
Yeah. Is that's the key to your success?
That's my blueprint.
And do you prepare people, and do you say to them when you start working with new people, say, it can happen that I come into a depression and I'm not available for a week or whatever. Don't worry. It's nothing I need that. Do you say these kind of things to people?
Yeah, I tell them these things that I tell them like how I work very open. I say, in Mars, probably I will not be so social anymore.
Yeah.
For 1 month, maybe if I'm unlucky, it will be 3 months. So just so you know. So what I do in my business, because I'm involved in so many things, is that I prepare everybody. And this is what you need to learn, is that you need to learn to be a leader, my friend. You don't need to
Yeah.
micromanage people.
Yeah. No.
Learn to lead, and then your life will be much easier. If you have any condition, whatever condition you have, learn to lead, my friend. You don't need to do everything yourself. And you know what? Your company doesn't go under because you're not there. You're just another human. That's another thing. Swallow your